Update, at a family meeting, Mom said, your sister just bought an expensive apartment. You can't do it. So I smiled and replied, I did it 2 years ago, none of you ever asked. They demanded a housewarming party, and I answered. Mom finally called everyone to the dining table, which had been extended to accommodate the 15 or so family members present. Once we were all seated with plates of food, she stood and tapped her glass with a spoon. We've gathered you all here today for a special reason, she began, beaming. Melissa has some wonderful news to share. Melissa stood, clearing her throat dramatically. 2 weeks ago, she announced, her voice dripping with satisfaction, I bought my own apartment in Westridge Heights. The room erupted in applause. Westridge Heights was indeed one of the nicer areas in town, though far from the most prestigious. It's a gorgeous 2-bedroom, Melissa continued. Mom and Dad helped with the down payment, of course. She blew them a kiss, which they received with beaming smiles. When's the housewarming party? Cousin Brian called out. Melissa simpered. Oh, I haven't decided yet. Still getting everything perfect. I smiled to myself, taking a sip of water. Good for her. It was a nice accomplishment, even if she needed our parents' help. Mom suddenly turned to me, her voice unusually loud. Donna, you haven't congratulated your sister. All eyes turned to me. Melissa giggled. She's probably just jealous. Not everyone can afford property in this market. My parents exchanged knowing smiles. Then Mom, making sure everyone could hear, said, well, it'll be a long time before Donna can match this achievement. Property ownership is for those with real careers. The table fell silent, everyone watching for my reaction. They expected embarrassment, perhaps tears or stammering excuses. Instead, I laughed, a genuine, spontaneous laugh. Actually, I said, I bought my place 2 years ago. Melissa's smile faltered. A condo, you mean? Or a townhouse? I took another bite of food, chewing slowly, making them wait. No, it's an apartment. 4 bedrooms, corner unit, with a wraparound terrace and lakeside tower. Gasps around the table. Lakeside Tower was the most exclusive address in the city. That's impossible, Melissa sputtered. You were a middle manager. You couldn't afford a broom closet in Lakeside. I dabbed my lips with a napkin. I've been financial director at Berkshire for 3 years now. My salary and bonuses are comfortable. The shock on their faces was priceless. Dad's fork clattered onto his plate. Financial director? He repeated. Why didn't you tell us? I met his gaze evenly. None of you ever asked. A heavy silence fell over the table. Then Mom's expression suddenly softened. Darling, that's wonderful news. When are you having your housewarming? We'd love to see this apartment. I had my housewarming 2 years ago, I replied calmly. With friends. Mom's smile stiffened. Melissa's face had turned an interesting shade of red. The rest of my relatives were looking at me with newfound interest, as if seeing me for the first time. Uncle Jim raised his glass. Well, congratulations, Donna. That's quite an achievement. Others murmured agreement while my parents and Melissa sat in stunned silence. As dinner continued, I noticed how everyone suddenly wanted to talk to me, ask about my job, my life. People who had barely acknowledged me for years were now hanging on my every word. I didn't stay long after my revelation. The atmosphere had become unbearable, my relatives suddenly fawning over me, Melissa sulking in the corner, and my parents switching between shock and an unsettling eagerness to reconnect. I made my excuses after dessert, citing an early morning meeting. But it's Sunday tomorrow, Mom protested, following me to the door. Global markets don't sleep, I replied, which wasn't entirely untrue. I did have a call with our Tokyo office, but not until the afternoon. The drive home was strangely liberating. For years I'd hidden my success from them, partly out of spite, partly because their opinions had stopped mattering long ago. Now that the truth was out, I felt oddly light, but also weary. My apartment welcomed me with its familiar comfort. I kicked off my heels and collapsed onto my living room sofa, staring at the city lights through the floor-to-ceiling windows. The revelation at dinner replayed in my mind, and suddenly everything clicked. The random dinner invitation last week, today's family gathering, it all made sense now. They'd wanted to showcase Melissa's achievement and, by contrast, highlight my supposed failures. They'd gathered the entire family to witness my humiliation. Instead, they'd ended up looking foolish, and now they were scrambling to adjust to this new reality where I wasn't the family disappointment. I was still processing this when my phone began buzzing incessantly. First my father. Then my mother. Then Melissa. I silenced it and turned on a movie instead. Whatever they wanted to say could wait until morning. When I finally checked my phone the next day, I had 17 missed calls and numerous text messages. Most were variations of call us immediately and we need to talk. I ignored them all and went about my Sunday routine, yoga, brunch with friends, and preparation for the upcoming work week. By evening, the messages had taken on a more urgent tone. Finally, a lengthy text from Mom appeared. Greater than Donna, we need to speak with you. Your father and I have given this a lot of thought. We've always supported Melissa financially because we thought you were struggling, too much to ask for help. Now that we know you're doing so well, we believe, as family, we should all support each other. Melissa's having trouble with her mortgage payments. As her successful sister, surely you could help. Call us back immediately. I stared at the message in disbelief, then started laughing so hard I nearly dropped my phone. The audacity was breathtaking. After years of neglect and favoritism, after attempting to humiliate me in front of the entire family, they now expected me to bail out their golden child? I typed a response. Greater than I'm not interested in discussing this. You wanted to embarrass me yesterday, and now you're asking for my help? Please don't contact me again about this matter. I could see the 3 dots appearing and disappearing as Mom started and stopped typing multiple times. Finally, greater than you're being selfish, Donna. This is what family does. If you refuse, you're choosing to exclude yourself from this family. Think carefully about this. I didn't bother responding. Instead, I poured myself a glass of wine. There was a strange sense of finality to it, a chapter of my life closing. It hurt, but less than I expected. The next morning at work, I immersed myself in quarterly reports and budget meetings. Being financial director of a major firm kept me busy enough to push the family drama to the back of my mind. By midweek, I'd almost forgotten about the whole ordeal. Then my assistant buzzed my office. Ms. Williams, there are 2 people in reception insisting on seeing you. They say they're your parents. I froze, my hand hovering over the keyboard. Tell them I'm in a meeting. They said they'll wait as long as necessary. I sighed, weighing my options. Give me 5 minutes, then send them in. I quickly tidied my desk and straightened my suit jacket. When my parents walked in, their expressions were a mix of awe and determination as they took in my corner office with its sweeping views. Nice place, Dad said, his eyes lingering on the awards and certificates displayed on my credenza. Thank you. What can I do for you? I kept my tone professional, as if they were any other unexpected visitors. Mom stepped forward. Donna, we need to discuss Melissa's situation. She's struggling with her mortgage payments and, with your financial success. No, I interrupted firmly. I'm not paying Melissa's mortgage. Dad's face reddened. Now listen here, young lady. Family helps family. Your mother and I have always... Always what? I asked quietly. Always been there for me? Always supported me equally? Always showed up for my important moments?